What's up, tea drinkers? Who's ready to spill? Welcome to The Tea with KG, hosted by your girl, Kaylee Grace. Here you'll find your weekly boost of real talk mixed with laughter, healing, and all of those vulnerable, messy moments in between. The Tea with KG is a safe space for you to show up exactly as you are. We are here to share real-life stories from around the globe and be a community of love, joy, and celebrating life. This is a real deal show, so there will be coarse language and sensitive topics discussed. The most beautiful stories oftentimes emerge from the darkest of places, and we're here to explore it all. There's room for everyone at this tea time, so grab your drink of choice, spark it up, or just relax and soak it up. Cheers, and let's spill. What's up, tea drinkers? We are back with another episode of The Tea with KG. I'm your host, Kaylee Grace. We're here to spread the sparkle, and today it's Valentine's Day. We love the love up in here, and I have something super exciting to announce. This is episode 1 of a 4-part series called Sex with Shauna. So as all the regular listeners know, Shauna Burns-Thompson was on episode 32. She's owner of Lavender Holistic Counselling and Sex Therapy. She is amazing. We have so much in store for you for this series. There's going to be lots of information, maybe some giveaways happening. So if you're intrigued by that word giveaway, keep listening because we're going to be dropping some Easter eggs. So you won't want to miss out on that. And it's just going to be super fun, and I'm so excited. So I want to throw it out there as well. If while you're listening, questions come up, feel free to reach out to myself or Shauna. We welcome the questions, and you can remain anonymous, but we would love to share any questions, comments that you guys have, because this is a fun topic. And I mean, it's Valentine's Day, so we're here to spice it up for you. So without further ado, let's hand it on over to our girl, Shauna.
Oh my gosh, I am so excited to be here just in all of the prep we've done on this. It has been so much fun. I can't wait to dive in and really talk about how we can spice up this Valentine's Day and the rest of the year in general. My big theme for the year is
not just Valentine's Day.
Yeah, absolutely. How do we make this so juicy, so pleasurable, and just help listeners, help our followers really get into their bodies and enjoy sex again.
Yes. Oh my God. I love all those words you were using. Juicy. I was like, yes, let's go.
Yes.
This is going to be so good. I'm so excited. So today, our episode, what we're going to be talking about, we're getting all up in the toys, guys, gals. We're not, no gender roles here, but yes, we're getting all up in there. We're going to be chatting about different toys. I mean, Shauna's the expert. She has done some thorough research for everyone listening.
It's been a really hard job, guys. Yeah.
Yes. So these are all tried, tested, and true reviews. She has done the work and she's enjoyed doing it. So I will pass it on over and you can educate us on some awesome sex toys.
Yeah. So I want to speak to you a couple of things that you just said before we get started. So in terms of language, I am going to do my very best throughout all of our podcasts and through my media as well to use inclusive language. So I'm going to be trying my best. I'm not perfect, but this is something it's so important to me to really be putting the work and putting the effort into doing, to be using penis owner and vulva owner.
I really like that.
I think it's so important that we start designing a sex positive space where everyone gets a seat at the table.
Yes.
There's so much shame sometimes associated with the body. And in working with a lot of the trans women that I work with and through different populations as well, I notice how often we can diminish our sexual experience because we're not happy necessarily with the way that our bodies look. And I mean, this is individuals, human beings across the board, right? When we don't look the way we want to look, or show up the way we want to show up, when that feels misaligned, sometimes we don't feel sexy.
100%. Nailed it.
Yes. And so I want to make sure that all of the toys I bring forward are done in a way that, use them on your body. Don't get caught up in the packaging. Don't get caught up in the labels. Get caught up in finding your pleasure. Get caught up in like bringing that forward. Right?
So much yes. Oh my God, yes. Let's get caught up in that pleasure.
Yes. So again, I mean, to touch on another point that you said too, I have tried all of these toys and I've tried them multiple times. I think it was you and I, Kaylee, we were talking a couple months ago how, especially for vulva owners, the way that our bodies respond, the way that our vagina responds to a certain stimulation throughout different parts of their cycle, it
Yeah.
shifts, right? So sometimes
Yes.
something might feel really good at one point in your cycle, sometimes it doesn't a couple of weeks later or even a couple of days later, right?
Exactly.
So I wanted
Yeah.
to kind of try it out and make sure that if I was liking it, it was because I was really liking it. And if I was not liking it, maybe there was some shifts that I had to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and again, these are what I have found to be enjoyable for my body and my partner's body and many of the friends' bodies that I have around me that I've gone into research as well. But to know that, it's fun to get creative and to play. And if I can offer any insight at all into this toy experience, if you're new to shopping for toys, get an idea of what you like, of what your partner likes. Go to a shop together, right? Get out, and we get so caught up in the online market of how easy it is to order and have it discreetly shipped to your door. But get out to a local sex shop. These are the shops that have got us through like decades
Yes.
of not being able to be in our sexual power,
That's
right? Because
right.
they have been trying forever to get these toys into our hands. So, get
Yeah.
out.
It's a Valentine's Day date idea, right?
Love it. Absolutely. We have a fantastic little shop here in town, and my husband and I go in there all the time. And the staff are so wonderful. They're so knowledgeable. You get a chance to like hold the toys and kind of look at them, check them out, and get an idea if it's something you're
Yeah.
even interested in, right?
Exactly. Because there's so much out there too. It's like, especially if you're new or you're not sure, it could be overwhelming, right?
So overwhelming. And as one of my followers pointed out a while back, says, what do we need to know? What are we looking for here? Kind of dropping little hints that I was coming on here, but nothing
Yes. I loved it. It was so, I was here for it. I was like, yes, she did.
But one of the things that he pointed out was toys are expensive.
Yeah.
They can be an expensive investment, right?
Hmm.
So we want to make sure that you're getting things, and they're not always going to be a win. I've got tons that are not a win that did not make the cut today, but there's also some really great ones. I'm going to try to show you a few different price points as well. Um,
Cool.
to again, broaden accessibility.
Oh my gosh, yes, this is so fun. I'm so excited for this. And also, too, if you're listening via podcast platform and you want to see, we are on YouTube as well. So if you're curious when she's talking about things, you will be able to see the video as well. But
Oh, and
I'm
I brought
excited.
the whole gamut. Like we are set up here
She
today.
is. Before we were recording, I said to her, I was like, you need like a literal treasure chest for all of the goodies because
Like a
she's got.
pleasure test.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay. That's something you need
Oh,
to market.
okay.
You need to
Yes.
create and market a pleasure chest.
It's so funny. We've been talking about storage because our nightstand is outrageous right now. And part of being a responsible toy owner, if you will, protecting your investment is making sure that you're storing your toys properly. So many people will just like shove them all in a drawer,
Yeah.
and silicone against silicone will actually damage the integrity of your toy. So it can actually break
Oh,
down the materials of your toy.
I did
And
not know that.
yeah, if you're going to spend a ton of money on them, you want to make sure they're well looked after. So
Yeah.
we actually have like a canvas shoe rack. Shout out to Luna Matatas for posting her sex toy storage. So it's like canvas, so it's not plastic. It's not going to stick to any of the toys. Often your toys will come with like a nice little silky bag, or you can even buy them separately as well. So storing them in that, and then they're easily accessible. You can kind of have some fun and play, or it can be like an advent calendar where you mix them up,
Yeah.
like pull out.
Oh my God. Okay, I love that. That is such a good idea. I love the advent calendar thing. And it also could be like a game. It could be like, you could be like,
Yeah,
not scratch this one, but like, you know what I mean? Like, which one do you get
yeah.
today?
Like
Surprise.
darts, you're like throwing something
Yeah.
for
Yes.
beer pong. Which one are you gonna try out?
There. Yes. I love, okay, that's such a great point to bring up because I would never have thought of like the storage aspect. So you're getting your listens worth today because it's not just like, ooh, these are good toys. It's, and also here's some tips on how to store them.
Mm-hmm.
Protect your investment.
Protect your investment, which leads me into my first product, if you will. Anyone who follows me in any capacity on social media, anyone who has had conversations with me, anyone who has invited me to a housewarming party, you know that my favorite thing in the absolute world to talk about and gift is lubrication. So 85, I'm going to drop some stats here. I'm going to try to get them right because I don't have those stats in front of me. It's 85% of vulva owners struggle to reach orgasm. So that's a pretty significant, that's more than, 3/4 of the vulva owning population that's struggling to hit orgasm. 9 out of 10 vulva owners have expressed sexually related difficulties that could be supported by good lubrication, right? So good lube, whether it's, helping with pain, helping with even positioning sometimes because friction can be not so comfortable, UTIs, yeast infections, like all of these discomforts that we tend to get can be supported through lubrication. So, we could do an entire episode on vaginal health as well, but it's very, very important to talk about. And lube is not created equally, right? I cringe. I know
I
you
love
are like,
that. Lube is not created
spit on
equally.
it. It's fine. Like, please don't be spitting. Spit on your partner if that's what they're into. That's fine. But please also incorporate a good lube into that as well. So we have like 3 different branches or umbrellas for lube, if you will. So we have a water-based lubricant, silicone-based lubricant, and an oil-based lubricant. So your oil-based lubricants are they're lubricating, obviously, Shauna. Moisturizing. They're moisturizing. But because they're oil-based, so this can even go down to, like, I've heard people using coconut oil. Coconut oil, I will actually kind of caveat to say I am a huge fan of coconut oil on your pussy.
Okay.
Love it.
Okay. I was picturing, like, because you know what they say, like, some things, like, don't insert unnecessary things. This sounds so funny. I'm sorry, my dirty mind can't help it. But, like they say, like douching is the perfect example. Like, a vagina itself cleans. Yeah. So sometimes when I think of that, like, that's what, not that that's what it's doing, coconut oil or anything, but that was kind of my first thought. So I'm glad you're bringing this up.
Yes. So coconut oil is antimicrobial, antibacterial. If you're somebody who has sensitivities in that area, that with a little bit of tea tree oil rubbed externally, fantastic. Don't put the tea tree oil inside, externally around the labia, all of that, fantastic. It's not recommended as a lube. Do people use it as a lube? Sure. Please do not use it on your toys and do not use it with condoms because it will, anything oil-based, so not just coconut oil, but any oil-based lubricants in general will break down silicone and condoms.
That's so good to know.
Nobody wants that on Valentine's Day or expected at any point in time. Silicone lube is really nice. One of the more well-recommended silicone lubes that are out there is Uber Lube. Fairly inexpensive. Yeah, you can get it on Amazon. So shipped right to your door, easy to get, no taste, no smell, doesn't impact your pH balance, which is so important for vulva owners as well. Right? That's when I'm talking about lube. I'm talking about good quality lube. This is not like the KY jelly at Walmart. Something that's good quality, that's respect that area, right? It's so sensitive.
Respect that area. Yes. I love that.
So silicone lube is great. It's longer lasting usually than a water-based lube. It's nice and silky. However, it can be damaging to toys, right? Okay. So again, you don't want silicone on silicone. Is it going to destroy your toy right away? Probably not. But most toy companies, it can void the warranty if you're using a silicone-based lube with it.
Oh,
good to know.
All the tips, yeah.
Yeah, read up on your warranties. A lot of the warranties are like 2 years, which is fantastic for sex toys. And then we have water-based lube. Water-based lube is going to be, silicone-based lube is also really good for anal sex, as an aside. Water-based lube is going to be like your go-to lube for everything, in my opinion. A really good quality water-based. My favorite, if you've been following me on Instagram or Facebook, I've bootlegged this into the country and harassing them on every possible channel to bring this to Canada. They just started shipping to Europe. So we're on the list.
Oh, yeah.
I got a like back on my last comment. So playground, Please,
It's
please, please.
coming. It
It's
literally, it's coming.
it's coming. We're all coming. Playground lube. It comes in this really cute little bottle.
That is cute.
Tip top. You can squeeze it out, so you're not trying to like fumble and unscrew it. You can do it one-handed. It has adaptogens in it. So if you're not super woo-woo, hippy-dippy like Kaylee and I are,
Yeah.
adaptogens are these fun little like herbal remedies that we can ingest usually. This time it's right in the loop, so we absorb it. Your pussy is a membrane, so it is going to absorb, right?
Mhm.
It's got ashwagandha in it. Ashwagandha increases blood flow to the area. Blood flow is so important. You'll hear me talk about it with the toys as well. We want to get that blood flowing to our vulva, to our vagina, to our clitoris, because that is going to promote sensation. It's kind of a marker of arousal. When that blood flow comes in,
Yes.
our sex organs swell, right?
And like you feel it. Like sometimes
You
like
feel it.
if my partner says something to me, I'm like, ooh. I'm like, ooh,
Yeah.
I felt that.
Absolutely. So it also helps with reducing pain and, of course, increasing orgasm. So that's why we say like foreplay, foreplay, foreplay. There is none of this like just getting it in and getting it done. Quickies are fun, but you need to still properly be aroused. If you're
Yes.
not aroused, often we kind of tense our muscles as well, which makes them more susceptible to tears or just discomfort in general.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you want to make sure we got some lubrication going on down
Yes,
there.
yes, yes. So ashwagandha is going to help that. It's got black cohosh, which helps with vaginal dryness, and it balances your hormone levels. So
That's amazing to me. I'm like, what?
yes. So for how many vulva owners that have been on hormonal birth control, that are on like transitional hormones, if you are going through transitions or different surgeries, right? Vaginal dryness is so high up there in terms of issues that I help women deal with. And we are like chronically dehydrated individuals. So if you're not drinking water, like self lubrication is moisture, right?
Yeah.
If you don't have enough water to keep your organs and your brain going, your vagina is not getting lubricated. It is like
That's so
survival of the
true.
fittest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That is such a good fact.
Yes. So hydrate, hydrate, hydrate.
I'm like, all right, cheers.
Yes,
Take
right.
a drink.
I know. Start doing shots of water. So yeah, balancing hormone levels, very, very important. And I mean, this one is my favorite just because of what it's called, but horny goatweed,
Stop
which
it
is,
right now. Best name ever.
I know, right? Traditional Chinese medicine. Horny goatweed was always used to amp up your sex drive, and it actually increases lubrication as well. So it helps you to self lubricate while also being in a good quality lubricant. It's got bamboo extract, it's got vitamin E. I've heard this lube, the playground lube, referred to as a facial for your pussy, and it is my favorite. So, like, treat it good, and she will be good to you.
Yes,
Right?
queen. Oh my
Love it.
gosh. Yes,
So,
I love that. And I love how you talk about her
uh,
because she
yes.
deserves all the love. And I feel like vulva owners sometimes
Mhm.
just like, I don't know, again, it could be different eras of growing up, but growing up in like the 90s, I just feel like there wasn't a celebration of the
Yes.
pussy. And there
No.
should be always. And I'm just here for it. I'm like, let's celebrate that pussy because, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think there's so much societal pressure on what it should look like, what it should taste like,
Yeah.
what it should smell like, all of these things. You hit the nail on the head when you said your vagina is a self cleaning oven. It's going to take care of itself. Basic hygiene. You don't need fancy soaps. You don't need douches, all of that. Warm cloth, wash it down, and it's
Yeah.
going to naturally do what it needs to do to find balance. Our
Yeah.
bodies want to be in balance, right?
That's right.
Hydrate,
Exactly.
hydrate, hydrate will help
Yes.
that.
Okay, sorry. I have to ask this quickly because I feel
Yeah.
like if anybody knows, it would be you. Is it maybe I should wait till our myth busting episode, but I'm so curious. I'm gonna ask now. I'll cut it out if we need to. Does pineapple really affect the taste? Or I'm sure foods do affect it, but you know, that myth is that
Yes.
true?
So yes and no.
Okay.
You are what you eat. So if you are eating a really nasty junk food diet, tons of salt, tons of sugar, tons and tons of alcohol, tons of fried fatty foods, your secretions are going to have a certain taste, right?
Interesting.
We detoxify through what leaves our body. That is something that's going to leave our body.
Mm-hmm.
Now, so if you're eating a healthy diet, it will have a more mild taste. You would have to eat so much pineapple for it to actually impact that it, no.
Okay.
Right?
I've
So
always
eat,
been
yeah.
curious because that was always a
Oh
thing
my
that was
gosh.
said, right?
Yes. Then you're like sitting in high school with people like eating their pineapple and you're like, oh, you naughty
Yes.
girl. Right?
You
Yeah.
naughty
Or you
girl.
naughty boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's again part of a healthy, balanced diet. The healthier you are, the healthier you will taste, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah.
I'm glad I asked that.
That was a good question. That was not
Yeah.
one that I was expecting. I like it. Another cool thing about lube too is yes, use it during sex, use it during penetration, but also you can use it for days where you're just feeling a little bit more dry, right? There's
Mm.
parts in your cycle where you don't create much vaginal mucus. So if you're feeling a little bit dry, I will often just put like a tiny bit on just for comfort throughout the day, right? If your pants or your undies or whatever are rubbing up against it, again, friction sucks, right?
Yeah.
So you want to make sure the skin around it is nice and soft and moisturized. You would do it on your hands, do it on your pussy too.
Yeah. I have another question.
Yeah.
If like you get very naturally lubricated, would you
Yeah.
still recommend using a lube even if it's not like for that purpose per se? Because I feel like that lube has so many benefits to it. I'm like, what?
I know. This one is so beautiful. And I think it's just like a good cosmetic routine.
Right? That's what I was thinking. I was like, it feels like it's like you said, like a facial.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing with natural lubricant is sometimes we feel really wet on the outside. That doesn't necessarily mean that we're lubricated inside. Right?
Okay.
So if you're engaging in penetration or you're using toys for penetration, anything like that, even like clitoral stimulation, I will use just a tiny, and I'm talking like pea, like less than pea size amount to create a bit of a barrier, right?
Right.
Or
Yeah.
you could put it on the shaft of a penis or the like rub it on a toy for insertion, just so it glides nice and smoothly. You don't want a lot. This is a fairly small bottle. It will last forever because you do
Nice.
not need a lot of it at all. I know I said silicone lubes tend to be longer lasting, but this has been it's
This is the
amazing.
holy grail.
It is when I first heard it talked about, I was like, I need to get my hands on this now. And I
Yes.
drove across the border to get it. I had to ship it to a mailbox in the States so I could get my hands on it. And I was like, please, like, this is going to be really awkward. This was our New Year's Eve. Like, we're driving to the States on New Year's Eve. And I was like, I really hope it's as good as it says it's going to be.
Yeah.
And it is. Love
It
it.
delivered and then some.
Comes in 4 different scents. I did have a question recently from a vulva owning follower that I have about scented products.
Mm-hmm.
So, and what my opinion on scented products is. Again, all of this is my opinion. Some of it's backed by science, and that's what my opinion is created on. But putting it out there, for me, you're right. You don't, your pussy is your pussy, and it is magical and wonderful and fantastic in its own unique way. We do not need to be altering the scent of it. So, scented products, in my opinion, have a wonderful place. Love it. But it's not because it's altering the scent of what I have. For me, I am all about the sensory play. So it's very like Pavlovian theory in my brain that when I smell certain smells that I have, associated with sex, or if I hear certain music that I associate to sex, I begin to become aroused. I begin to
Yes.
self-lubricate.
Yeah,
Right?
same here. And like certain things your partner can say, like it triggers that in you. You're like,
Yes.
ooh, like, and that's the same thing. Certain songs, different smell. Exactly. Like, yes. I'm like, yes.
So for me, that is where scented products come in really handy, is
Yeah.
because your brain, and this only happens if you've had good sex. So if you're having mediocre or like meh obligatory sex, this is going to work, right? You're probably
No.
a reactive or aversion to the sense. But
Yeah.
when you have stimulus that your brain and your body link, because our brain and bodies are so connected, that when we link
Mm-hmm.
it to pleasure, we store that differently in our brains.
Yeah.
So it like makes me think of this is the next loop that I'm going to talk about. This is the second one. I only have two. It is also a water-based lubricant. This has been my go-to lubricant for years. So it is Pure Romance, which is like a sex toy online distributor, not like plugging that in any way.
Yeah.
Some people like that, some people don't. But this is a lube that I have not been able to top it until Playground Lube. And I had high
Amazing.
expectations for Uber Lube because of how broadly it was talked about. It didn't do it for me. This one is sugar glazed donut.
Oh,
It
that
smells
sounds
like
amazing.
it smells like Krispy Kremes.
Oh my
So,
God, that sounds so good.
so for me, that's where that sensory play really started to transpire. It was years ago when I started to like link it, and you smell it and you're like, oh, that smells really good. But then all of a sudden, months later, the kids come home with a donation box of like Krispy Kreme donuts, and you're like, why am I
Honey,
feeling
let's go to the
spicy right
bedroom.
now? Right? And then you realize it's just like that Pavlovian theory, like Pavlov's dogs, where they hear the bell and they start to salivate.
Yeah.
We are very much the same way when it comes to the way we interpret sensory information.
I totally feel that because I feel
Yeah.
very in touch with my senses. And it's exactly that. Like, or even like you could even link it to like food you eat. Like you smell a
Yes.
certain food you love, your mouth waters. Like,
Yes.
yeah.
So this is the Just Like Me lube. It is also pH balanced, or not intended to disrupt your pH, I guess is the way to describe that. Water-based lube, again, I find it lasts really, really well. You do not like, I think I go through one of these every year and a half. Like it lasts forever.
Nice.
Really, really nice. Tons of different smells and flavors as well. It also tastes really good. If you're giving blowies and you're struggling to get enthusiastic about giving a blowy, add a little bit of flavored lube. One, it's going to feel fantastic for the receiver. Two, it's just going to taste really good for you too. So
There you go.
when it comes to toys, again, I've been playing around and recognizing that every body is different, as I noted, kind of playing off of what works well for my body and what the literature says works well for a lot of bodies. But that's not to say it's going to work well for everyone. So please, I can't emphasize this enough to get out and play and find what feels good for you. And do that without your partner as well. Solo
Yeah.
play is so important because if you don't know what turns you on, how are you going to get your partner to turn you on? Right? It's an guessing
Exactly.
game. 2023
Exactly.
is the year we're going to start asking for what we want. We are going to start demanding what we want. We are going to hold space for what we want because what you want matters.
Yes, it freaking matters. And like you said, everything always comes from you first, and
Yes.
then everyone else can just add to it, which is wonderful. So,
Absolutely.
love that about the self love because, we're all about the self love. And then when you find a
All of it.
partner who's like, that's the one for you, and it's like, whoa, it just amplifies what you already know. And it's like, is this real life? Like,
Absolutely. And
yeah.
we have within heterosexual couples, we'll notice this a lot more.
Yeah.
Lesbian couples actually have some of the highest rates of like love and pleasure from sex. Gay male couples have some of the highest rates of sex in general. Heterosexual couples, we are not doing this very well. We have one of the largest orgasm gaps ever, right? Which means that within a heterosexual couple, it is almost guaranteed that the male partner is going to orgasm. They're going to get off. And it is almost guaranteed. We've got 85% of women who are not having easily orgasms.
It's just
Okay?
wild. It's
Yeah.
wild. Like we gotta
Yeah.
learn them bodies, learn what each other likes, and like I feel like too. I mean, we're saying like practice and play, but it's so true because you figure out what works, and like, and I truly do believe if you're choosing to be in a partnership, like when you're with that one that's right, it literally can take you to a place you didn't know existed. And it's
So
amazing. Yeah. So also this is a little shout out to don't settle. Don't
settle.
settle. No.
Treat her like a princess. Honor your
Yes.
pussy. Love her, love her, love her, love her.
Yes, because she deserves that good.
Deserves. She is literally like the creator of the
Yeah.
universe, right?
Yeah.
Like
Oh
that
my
is where we
God.
hold wisdom. That is also where we hold our trauma.
Yeah.
So we need to be caring for her and loving on her extra.
100%. It's such a beautiful, powerful part of our being, and it's just amazing.
Yeah. So a lot of questions between internal versus external toys and internal versus external orgasm. So a lot of science that's coming out right now is talking about, like, are there actually different types of orgasm, or like is there a hierarchy of orgasm, or are we just kind of stimulating different areas, right? So there is no hierarchy. However you can orgasm, get out there and orgasm.
Yes.
Find your pleasure, find your pathways to that pleasure, and then play within those pathways as well so that you can create more pathways to get to where you want to
Hmm.
go. That
Yes.
being said, our clitoris has originally, for a long time, they've been talking about like 8,000 nerve endings. They've just found another 2,000. So we've got like
What?
10,000 plus nerve ending in your clitoris. And the only anatomical, like, I get so amped up about this, the only anatomical purpose of your clitoris is pleasure.
Fuck yeah.
Like, why aren't we loving on that, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yes. The
And
stimulation, that's what's up.
yes. So 80% of vulva owners are more likely to experience orgasm through the clitoris than internally. That means like 20 to 25% of vulva owners can reach initial orgasm internally. But for many others, they either don't have internal orgasms at all. The way bodies shift, it's just not lining up that way. They're not aroused enough to engorge that area to have the pleasure senses hit. So why aren't we putting more focus on the clitoris, right? It
Yeah.
was, I think, Freud many moons ago talked about, and he has contributed some great things to science. He's contributed a lot of fallacies to science as well. But he tried to make it seem like there was a hierarchy to orgasm, and that, I'm trying to think of the words that he said, but essentially the clitoral orgasm was an immature orgasm. So
What's
vulva
that
owners,
mean? I'm like,
it
what's that?
basically, like, if a vulva owner was orgasming through clitoral stimulation, that they basically hadn't progressed yet to
Oh,
internalization.
I don't
So
think so.
yeah, leave it to a man, to
Yeah.
your stereotypical white man who thought he knew everything about everybody, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, how about we ask a clit owner?
Yeah, the G spot was also found by a man and named after the man who found it.
Of course.
So we're gonna refer to that as like the goddess spot,
Oh,
rather than
yes.
whatever everybody's
The
name
goddess spot. I like that.
is. So a lot of the toys that I'm going to talk about are for the clitoris. One cool thing to notice is once you've had a clitoral orgasm, you're much more likely to have an internal orgasm.
I
So
did not know that.
your clitoris, I tried so hard to find a 3D printer because I've been looking for a model replica. I'm gonna have to order one on Etsy, but for today, you get
Yes.
the model with my fingers. So, so your clitoris, like, we know, if you were, first of all, if you haven't looked at your own pussy, please get out a mirror and just go take a look at what's around there.
Yes, I always think of the Sex and the City episode. Charlotte has never looked, and
You're
Samantha's
like,
like,
well, what do you,
honey, take my
yeah,
compact and go to the bathroom right
yeah,
now.
yeah. We don't know what's down there, right? And we will debunk a ton of myths around that during our myth busting episode.
Yes.
But we can see the clitoris is generally that like little clitoral hood that we can see at the top of our vulva. But what we don't see is within the kind of mound and down through the labia, we have these like legs that come down out of the clitoris that have all of these nerve endings as well. So when
Ooh,
we're only focusing stimulation on the tip, we're missing out on all of this other pleasure that's possible.
yeah.
Okay. So I'll talk about some certain toys and how we can access that. But for some people, for some vulva owners, clitoral stimulation is way too intense because it is a lot of
It is
sensation, right?
intense. Yes.
So start low, start slow, and lubricate, lubricate, lubricate. Do not add too much friction. And if it doesn't feel good, go somewhere else, right? Don't put yourself
Yeah.
through pressure at all.
No, this is supposed to be fun and playful and figuring out what feels good for you. So,
Mhm.
yeah, it might take a little experimenting, but that's half the fun, right?
Absolutely. And I think that's why it's also so important that we start like redefining what sex means. we get very caught up in like sex meaning penetration, or we fall into our ruts of this and then this and then this equals penetration equals orgasm. And that really limits our pleasure pathways. And
Yeah.
if only 20% of people are orgasming, 20% of vulva owners are orgasming that way, why the fuck are we doing it? Right? Let's
Preach.
start expanding and putting it out there, to include oral sex, to include anal sex, to include just sensory play and touching or impact play and all of this, and use that as a definition of sex.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And they notice that whenever they do studies and say, like, what is the average amount that, or how much sex is the average person having? There is no average, there is no number. By the way, every couple is unique and different, but they don't often include the broad range of activities. So for somebody who's maybe not having penetrative sex, they might still be engaging in sexual play in many other ways. So important.
Yes. So many other ways. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Toy recommendations. I'm going to, again, for anyone who's been following me, I've started to do some reviews on my social media. And I was thinking, like, I wanted to kind of play around a little bit with the 5-star rating scale. So we've been doing
Yeah.
thing here at Fraser Valley Sex Therapy. So each of my toys will come with a gush rating and gush factor. Sorry.
Okay, I love that.
Just a little fun, a little juicy, a little spicy.
Mama likes.
I get it. So this is the first toy that I'm going to start with. It is pure, again, from Pure Romance. So the distributorship. It's called the Opening Act. Very, as you say, super ergonomic, right? Good handle. You can kind of flip it around. Can be used by yourself. It can be used in partner play. Really good, basic beginner's toy. There's only 2 buttons. So power on and change the vibration patterns. Use it to promote the blood flow. Kind of can't go wrong, right?
Yeah.
Really
You know what that
good.
reminds me of when you said ergonomic? I don't know if you ever watched Grace and Frankie on Netflix.
I love Grace and Frankie.
Okay, right? Well, you know exactly where I'm going with this. Like there, for anyone who hasn't watched, it's Jane Fonda and Lily Tomlin, so like older
Amazing.
ladies. And they design a vibrator and exactly that was one of the features was the ergonomics because they were like, as you age, your hands change,
Yeah.
everything like that. So I think that's a great point to bring up is ergonomics in a toy.
Yes. And especially if you're somebody who takes a while to warm up, again, you shouldn't be judging how fast you orgasm on how quick or how much you're turned on either, right? So some people just take a little bit longer to get things going, and you don't want to be holding something that's really uncomfortable or in weird angles
Yeah,
to try to get there. And
exactly.
yeah, there's too many toys out there that are awkward and annoying that we don't need. So
Ain't
I
nobody got time for that.
ain't nobody got time for that. There's too many good ones that can replace the annoying ones, right? So I gave the Opening Act a gush factor of 3, mostly because it's fantastic. Don't get me wrong. It's probably the lowest that I have rated for you today, but just because of versatility, right? Like I said, it's a really good go-to, easy to charge, very easy to clean. Just not one of my favorites.
I love that this is called Gush Factor. I know I said that already, but it's the best.
So fun. So price point's about 130 bucks Canadian. Not outrageous. Doesn't go on sale usually, unless you can find a distributor who's going to do sales. Though other downsides that you have to go through a distributor, not necessarily a downside for everybody, right? This one, okay. So this has a gush factor of 4,
Ooh.
and honestly, it could be a 4.5. There's just no I'm gonna give it a 4.5. I'm gonna change it right now, actually. Okay. So this one, and it's funny that you talk about Grace and Frankie because this is exactly what I think about every time.
Stop. Okay, we're so
toy.
connected. I can't even. Got everyone listening. The amount of synchronicities between Shauna and I, it's insane.
It's absolutely insane.
In the best way possible, but it's like every time it happens and it seems to be getting like more and we're like,
Yeah.
What?
So this toy originated in the 60s as a personal body massager.
Oh my God.
I'm talking neck, I'm talking back.
Is this like the one Samantha had on Sex in the City?
Yes.
Stop.
It
Yes.
is. It is the OG grandma's vibrator. Vulva owners in like the 70s really hopped on the magic wand train, and they're like, okay, sex positive movement, let's fucking go. And
Yes.
this toy has over 50 years remained top of the charts in every fucking chart out there.
Wow.
Uh, the original, I haven't owned the original. And honestly, I just got this one in the last year because I every time I look at it, I'm like, oh my God, I could totally like that is absolutely a grandma's vibrator. That is
Yeah.
the Grace and Frankie vibrator, right?
Yes.
The original was huge. It was like lugging a baseball bat. It was powered by like cord in the wall, and you can still
Yes.
get it. It is
Yeah.
still available. It is still top of the list. Like there is a reason. It is fantastic.
Legit, it
But
makes me laugh because I'm just picturing Samantha like when hers broke and she's like, the guy's like, it's a neck massager. She's like, no, it's a vibrator.
but it's so funny because the company, I think it was somewhere in Asia that was making it. It was Hitachi was the brand. They actually pulled their name off of it when they realized what women were using it for. They're like, no, we want nothing to do with that. Like that is so not our flavor
Not on
profile at
brand.
all. Yeah. Luckily, it became Magic Wand, and even more so, luckily, they've created a mini version, which is still like
It's a good
still got
size.
power. Like you can
Yeah.
still lob a burglar with it if you
Yeah.
had to.
Yeah.
And it's now rechargeable, so it doesn't have to be plugged in. You can still get the big one, and you can get, I don't know if there's a mini that's pluggable or not. I don't know that one off the top of my head, but fantastic. Still just as powerful. It has 3 vibrations. So like it is not fancy, but oh my God.
Effective.
Love it. Very, again, easy to clean. Easy to clean is oh my goodness.
The dogs like it too.
Yeah, the dogs are like, yeah,
woo!
woo! Bark factor 4.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all about toys that are easy to clean because the last thing I want to do after I've had a really good orgasm is get up and have to like scrub into a bunch of crevices and stuff. You want it to be easy to clean. Please clean your toys. So many people don't know that toys need to be cleaned. And whether it is genital juices or lubricant or whatever is on it, you want to make it clean because otherwise when stuff is left to marinate on it, it's just going to damage the integrity of your toys.
Yeah.
So, and it doesn't have to be fancy. Like you can get toy cleaner, which is like little sprays or wipes that work. Warm soapy water, a gentle mild soap, put it on, let it air dry. Doesn't have to be a lot. And a lot of toys can go right in your dishwasher.
Yeah.
Oh.
Me just, yeah. And I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, girl.
That's so good. Might as well, right?
There's no reason. Now, if you're not going to clean them like every single time, at least do it a couple times a week.
Yeah.
Just, again, what are you putting on her or him?
Exactly.
Right? Them, right? Love your genitals. Love your genitals. Love your genitals.
Yes.
So this one, I don't know if you'll be able to hear it if I turn it on or see. Like it is.
Oh, I can see it.
I'm wondering, like, do I have something it can clank against?
Oh.
Like, that is the basic. Like, it's got some power.
Yes. There's a reason Samantha had that one.
Yeah, there's a reason. And because of the head too, what I really like about it is just it's movable, right? It seems like it would be awkward. It's not super heavy, and it kind of just falls into place because it's a bit top heavy. So you can use the tip of it on your clitoris, on the frenulum as well. So the bottom ridge on a penis, back behind the balls, that perineum area. Fantastic to love in that area as well. So you can do it with the tip, or you can do like the full side of it, right? And that's going to hit more nerve endings, more excitement, more pleasure. What I also love with this one, because it's so big, is there's a few different methods, right? We get very caught up in the routine, especially during masturbation, is a lot of people will just lay on their back and
do what works. Yeah.
Do the same thing they've done since they were 12 years old, right? Yeah. Or whatever, like that, those first times. So get creative with your positioning, get creative with how you're even moving the toys. So for a lot of people with a vibrator, they will, hold it on the clitoris, maybe bounce it a little bit or go up and down. If you actually go side to side with vibration based toys, you hit way more nerve endings than if you go up and down. This is also a great tip for oral sex. Go side to side, not up and down.
Game changer.
Alvin method. Try it out. So hip to hip, even windshield wipering your hips while you're doing it can really up a little bit.
I like that. Keeping it spicy.
Yes. Change it up, right? Neuroplasticity is how our brain learns and grows. We want to have as many pathways to pleasure as possible, because then if one's not working for us, for whatever reason, we're just not in the jam for it, then at least there's something else. Our body knows another path to get there.
Oh, exactly. And like that variety, it's so key because literally, like you just said, because also too, just speaking as like a vulva owner, it can be so mental sometimes. So sometimes you just, it's just not going to do it and you just got to switch it up. So yeah, that's such a good point.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I talked a bit about kind of behind the balls, that perineum area. Fantastic. And I really like toys that can be used on any body, because one, it's a lot cheaper and you'll feel less guilty buying toys for yourself. And you can be like, look, I bought this for us.
Yes, we can play with this tonight.
We can play with it together. And I think sex toys have long been marketed to women to make them hurry up and come.
Yeah.
Right. So I want to, again, just emphasize that toys are for everybody.
Yes.
Regardless of your genitals, regardless of what's on your birth certificate, regardless of what's on your driver's license, just find what feels good and play with it. With behind the penis, and this is something, again, myth busting, but we often think that what is visible is what is there for a penis. That's only about half of the length. The other half of the length is internal. So you can actually feel it if you go in behind the balls into that taint area, the perineum area, and kind of cup it or add a little bit of pressure. You can actually feel the shaft of the penis extending into the stomach. And it feels fantastic. It can be a bit of a shock at first when you're not having any sensation there, right? So again, go slow, go low, but add some love to that area. This toy is fantastic for that because you can add a bit of pressure and it's not super awkward. You can kind of get in and around.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. Price point, again, about $130 retail, but it's often on sale for way less. I think I looked on pinkcherry.com last night, and it was on for like $70.
Oh, nice. That's good to know. And clearly, if it's still the number one this many years later, it's a good one.
It's a good one. It is a good one. The next one is my unicorn. So
here we go.
I'm like sweating a little bit. So funny story about this one. This is my second device of the same kind. I had one a couple years ago, blew my fucking mind. It was my first pulsation stimulator that I had. And I remember like coming home, my husband wasn't here. And I was like, oh, I'm just going to try it really quick, just to see what the suction is like. And I was off in like 12 seconds. I was like, oh my God, what the fuck just happened? Yeah. Came home and was like, what the fuck? Like, you didn't even wait. What was that?
You're like, well, it took literally 12 seconds.
We have referred to it as the coochie killer since that
coochie
day.
Killer, like, yes.
Amazing. And it was very well loved. Comes in 2 colors. This one is blue. It also comes in a really pretty pink. And it was the pink one that I had before this. And our cat at the time got into our room. Another reason you need to properly store your sex toys. Our cat got in and ate the silicone, like chewed the off. And I came home and I cried. Oh. I was like, oh my God. Like I felt like I was my best friend. It was so sad.
My unicorn. Not the coochie killer.
I actually sent one of my girlfriends like a Snapchat and I was like teared up and I was like, I can't believe my cat did this.
You know what? You literally, that could have been the best marketing for them like ever. Cause I feel like those are the videos that would be viral.
Yes, I know. It should have happened now when I had the platform. But anyway, I didn't replace it right away because it is probably one of the most expensive toys I think that I have to tell you about. But also, there's a lot of other alternatives that have very similar or stronger claims. So I was trying to try it out. I'm like, okay, if I love this
Yeah.
one, maybe I'll love the rest. Nothing has touched this at all. So yeah. Thanks,
It is the
Mom. This was your
unicorn. Yeah.
Christmas present to us this year.
I love that. What was the price point on that one?
So this one, it ranges depending on where you go from about 150 to 200 bucks.
Okay,
So
so still kind of in that same range. Yeah.
same general area. Yeah. In terms of if you're looking for a deal on toys, again, I know I very much am promoting go into your store, get to know the staff, support local businesses because I think that's so important and something that
Yes.
we really try to do as our family. However, pinkcherry.ca, I think it is. If you search Pink Cherry, it'll come up for your area. I think it's .ca. Often has huge sales. So I don't pay full price for anything. Like I always go there to double check first and then wait a
Yeah.
couple to see if it's going to go on sale cheaper. So I've seen it down for like like the odd time like 139 maybe. So just
Okay.
keep an eye out for it. If you can get it on sale, get it on sale. If you have to pay full price, I promise you it's still worth it.
Based on your story, I would say yes.
It's fantastic. And even when we got this one again and tried it, I was like, maybe there's going to be like, maybe I'm going to be disappointed. Maybe I've had it on this pedestal because I was so sad, and I've broadened my pleasure pathways. Maybe it'll be a little bit better now. And we tried it, and my husband and I, we roll over and we look at each other and we're like, yeah, it's still got it.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
It's ridiculous, and we have so much fun when like this is all play for us, right? And even
Yeah.
in the market research, but we will in the middle of it be like, okay, what is this like for you? Take a mental image right now. We need to come back to this conversation so we can
Yes.
talk about it, right?
Oh my God, yeah. Like, babe, make sure that you don't pass out. We need to remember
Yeah.
this is what this one feels like.
I need to take my notes.
Yeah.
So clitoral stimulator, pleasure air technology, which means it actually pulses and vibrates. So again, it only has the 2 buttons. So it's not like you're fumbling around trying to figure it out. The go bigger button is bigger. So it's easy to find. It has a nice little magnetic charger on the end as well. This one can feel very intense for people who have a sensitive clitoris. So start low and start even like peripheral area. Don't necessarily dig right in there if it could be a bit sensitive. Super easy to clean. Again, very ergonomic. I love this. It's got 12 different patterns. 2 different buttons to increase or decrease, as I said. What I love about it though is that you can use it in different positions. So great for vulva owners to use while you're masturbating. Great during penetration as well, because it's so narrow that you can actually kind of hold it down like this while, like if you're having sex from behind, or even like during missionary, right? You can still make space for it. Great to use on a penis as well. So you can use the suction along the shaft, along the ridge, the head of the penis, which is very kind of, Emily Nagoski says it really great when she describes her genitals as saying we have all the same parts, they're just organized differently.
Yeah.
So the head of the penis is so sensitive. That's where the mass majority of the nerve endings are, much like our clitoris.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. That's how I think of it when I'm like thinking of it. I'm like, that is literally like my clit.
Yeah, absolutely. So give it some love as well.
Yeah.
Again, on the perineum area, the balls, again, very unique. All of this is very unique to the individual. Communication is so important. Can't emphasize that enough. Check in with your partner frequently. Make sure your partner knows how to get your attention if they want you to go harder, faster, or to slow down or to stop altogether.
Yeah.
Right? Keep that communication going. Because as soon as we start, again, going back to the mental capacity of sex, as soon as we start to pull back a little bit and be like, this doesn't feel good, but I'm not going to say anything, our body starts to shut down.
100%.
And then we log that in our memory. And eventually, like so many vulva owners, especially that I work with in my private practice, that are struggling to get aroused, it's because they have had mediocre sex for so long that their brain just reads sex as not worth my time to do. The
Mm.
more good, pleasurable sex you have alone or with a partner, the more sex you're going to want. Sex begets sex. It's like a muscle. We have to use it.
Yes. It's so
Get good.
true. It's funny you say that because I was thinking of that like this week. Even this is not even related to sex, but movement in general. Like when the
Yes.
less you move your body, the harder it's gonna be to move your body eventually. It's like any habit, right? So that
So,
totally makes sense. Yeah.
and we like, how often is it, you kind of fall out of the habit for whatever reason? You're stressed, you're working, you're on the go all the time. Maybe you haven't had sex for a week or 2 weeks or 3 months, right? And then at that point, it's like, oh, I don't even want sex anymore. I don't crave it. It doesn't even cross my mind. But the more we start introducing it back in, and again, having fun with it, making it playful, not like serious and structured and
Yes.
X or ABC equals D, right?
That's right.
Start to have fun. We recreate those pathways so that we want more of it.
Yes, and like the playful parts, like the most fun. It's just like pleasure. I'm like, I live for. Maybe that's the Taurus in me. We are
Yeah.
very sensual creatures, but I'm like, it is pleasure, honey.
Yes. And it makes you want it more, right? And it feels good.
Yeah,
But when things feel good, physically, emotionally, if you're connected to your partner, if you're vibing really well,
yeah,
right? It releases all of these great hormones, your oxytocin,
yes,
your serotonin, your all of that. And which is why it's kind of like a high for some people, right? We chase at it, feels
yes,
so good,
yes.
right? And that's also why we crash afterwards. But it just helps us to
Oh,
connect.
totally.
It's
Yes,
so
and
good for your mental health.
we talked about that, I think, your last episode, the spiritual, energetic part of
Mhm.
it too. Like it's so
Mhm.
intense. There's so many layers to sex. It's not just this physical thing. Like I'm not saying it can't, yes, sometimes in certain
It can
situations,
be.
yes.
Yeah.
Exactly, it can be. But if you're looking for that deep,
Mhm.
deep, deep connection, like it can be
Yeah.
so intense on so many
Yeah.
levels, like you're saying, mental, spiritual, physical, everything. It's just
Yeah.
so good.
You like feel it pulsate out of you. And you'll feel
Yeah.
it even more pulsate out
Ooh,
of you if you've been using the We Vibe
the
Belt. It's fun.
unicorn.
The unicorn. I'm not sponsored by them. Did I put in a sponsorship application this week? You're goddamn right I did.
I was
Because
gonna say,
everybody needs this on their nightstand.
literally, I was like, if you're not sponsored by one of these by the end of this, because, and you don't, you give so much good info with it. Like they would be lucky to have you.
Love it. Love it. So kind of on the same token as that one, and I'm certain that other companies probably have this one as well. This is one that was brought forward to me by several followers. So when I put it out there and I'm like, okay, I'm going to be doing product reviews, the good, the bad, and the ugly. What am I testing? And I had so many people send me this toy that I was like, okay, on it. Your girl's
Yes.
going to help you out. So this one is through Pink Cherry again
It's so
online.
cute. It's
It
so
is so,
cute.
I thought it was perfect for our Valentine's episode because for those who can't see, it's like a little red rose. So fits very well. I don't know what you'd, smaller than a baseball, I guess.
Yeah, it's
Um,
like a beautiful rose. It's so
yeah, it's
cute.
like fits in the palm of your hand so cutely. Again, it is a clitoral stimulator that works on pulsations. Gush factor of 4, so it's good. It has only one button, so there's
No
no reason
confusion.
to crash. It comes in 3 intensities and 4 rhythms. So lots of different options. You just kind of push your way through. And I wish you could see some of these because they're so fun. Oh, where's the camera?
Ooh, I see it. Oh,
Right.
hey. I can hear it too.
Yeah. So it is good. Let's try to remember how to like turn it off again. So nicely fits in your hand. Great for solo play. The reason I didn't give it a 5 is because of its shape. It's not awesome for partnered play. So
Hmm.
whereas the We Vibe Melt, like I said, really awesome to add. So when again going back to the beginning of our conversation, when I said you're more likely to orgasm internally when you've had those external orgasms, internal like during penetration when you're using this on your clit at the same time, oh my god, it will rock your world. So that is my only reason for dropping this a gush. Fun place to start or end your playtime, even though it's not good for penetration necessarily, or when penetration isn't even the goal. And penetration should not always be the goal. Orgasm should not always be the goal. Your goal is to get out, to have fun, to have pleasure.
Yes,
Right?
and connect with
Mhm.
yourself or you and your partner or multiple partners, whatever you choose.
Yes, absolutely. Pulsation, strength, and efficacy, definitely a close contender to the Levi Melt, but this one's at a much more affordable price point. So for those that are saying like, yeah, I don't want to go out and buy a bunch of toys because what if I don't like it? What if I'm not into it? This is a great one to start with. It is on regular price, retail price is about $130, which makes it comparable to everything else. I have seen it on Pink Cherry almost consistently for 40 bucks.
Oh,
Like,
nice.
do not, in any capacity, I encourage you so deeply to not pay full price for this toy because 12 seconds from now, it will be 40 bucks. And again, like very much worth the $40 in my opinion.
Love
Uh,
it.
so again, great to just try out if you're not wanting to invest a lot, or again for a first time toy owner too, right? If you don't know what you're getting.
Yeah. And like the fact that so many of your followers recommend it, that's great testament to it as well.
Yeah, I love that. And like penis owning customers, vulva owning customers, like or followers, fantastic. It's so cool to just see the vast variety of people that brought
Yeah.
it forward. So like huge shout out. You guys know who you are for sending this my way.
Yes.
Fantastic. Highly recommend.
I love
Um,
that.
on that note, Kaylee, how do you feel about doing a little product giveaway?
Well, I think that's a fantastic little something something we could do for this Valentine's Day episode.
Yeah. So, what I would love to do, anyone listening to this episode, this is going to solely be for Tea with KG listeners. Just a little thank you for having me on and for supporting me through all of this. Head on over to social media, like me on Facebook and Instagram at Fraser Valley Sex Therapist. Hit up Kaylee's Instagram too, Tea with
Yes.
KG.
Follow all of our things. So,
Yes,
social media. So, Facebook and Insta for Shauna, Facebook, Insta for me, and also the podcast and the YouTube. All of the
yeah,
things.
yeah. Like
Yeah.
all of the things. And then I want you to send me a DM telling me to stop and smell the roses, okay? Because so many of us, we are caught up in the hustle and bustle. We are choosing not to connect to ourselves. We're choosing not to connect to our partners. We are losing the mindfulness that comes with good sex, right? So that's gonna be our lesson for the episode is to stop and smell the roses. You're gonna send that to me for a chance to win your very own rose vibrator. I will send it directly to you, nice and discreet. Nobody will know what's in your mailbox, I promise.
I love that. So stop and smell the roses. DM that to Shauna. And with this giveaway too, I'm also putting a rose quartz in there because we all about the love, the self-love. So you can have a beautiful
Yeah.
energetic crystal charging right next to your rose.
Talk about amplifying that orgasm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
So we'll leave this open until March 1st. So at that point, March 1st, I will make the draw. I won't post a name publicly, but I will let Kaylee know as well, just because I want to, keep your anonymity out there. Not everybody wants
Yeah.
to know that they are getting some goodies.
Yes, and
But
if
then
you
I
don't mind the name going out there, by all means, we will shout you out. But we also
absolutely
respect the anonymity. How do you say that word? Anonymity?
anonymity and
Anonymity. I can't. Anonymous. You will be anonymous.
yeah, so I will reach out to you March 1st. Either way, if you are the winner.
Yay. So just to recap that for everyone listening, message Shauna, stop and smell the roses if you want to be entered in the giveaway, and we will let the winner know by March 1st. So, and thank you too, listeners, viewers, for supporting us. Like it really means a lot to both of us.
So much.
And yeah, we're just really excited to keep putting this content together for all of you because it's going to be a series. So it's going to be awesome. So, like we said in the beginning, send us questions or anything because, like, this is a safe space. We do not need to name names, but if it's going to be sharing good knowledge with everyone, we want to hear it.
And believe me, there is nothing I haven't heard before. You're
Yes.
like, you cannot shock me. I shouldn't say that. Every now and then I get one like, oh, wow, okay. But it's very rare. So please send them my way. I'm so happy to answer, or to even bring them onto a future episode that we can talk about it together too, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm excited. I can't wait for our first winner, whoever you are.
Dear winner, dear future winner, if you want to send me your feedback after you try it, I would also love that. Again, not to share your information, but I just love backing. And if you've tried any of these, please send me your recommendations or opinions on them too.
Yes, your
Because
gush factor.
not, yeah, send me your gush factor, because it's not just my opinion, it's not just my body, right? This one, the next step, they're two separate toys, but I'm going to refer to them together because it makes for a really fun date night for those who are heading out tonight with your special someone. I have a toy for a vulva owner and a toy for a penis owner. So for the vulva owner, we have, again, with WeVibe, loving their products. They are good quality, easy to clean, good, safe body silicone, right? Or safe for your body silicone, body safe silicone is the word I'll get there eventually. Fantastic. And they just hold up, right? Again, if you're putting this investment out there, you don't want something that's going to break or fall apart.
Exactly. I'll just say a quick little story to that.
Yes.
Again, Sex in the City, of course, like raised us, but
course.
the rabbit, that was one of the vibrators that was talked about on that show. So when I was in my 20s in university trying to figure out vibrators and everything, so of course I was like, well, I have to have the rabbit. They rave about it. It must be great. And don't get me wrong, it was good, but I broke it. So like I bought more than one, and it shouldn't break that easily is also what I'm trying to say. So
Yeah.
invest and make sure it's like Shauna, like a good quality toy that's going to last. Because if you are investing, you don't, it's kind of disheartening. You're like, did I wear it out? Like what happened?
Right. And not all toys that are designed for sexual purposes are designed from sexually safe materials. So you really want, again, to know what you're putting into your body, to know that no parts are going to fall off. You're not going to get like a chemical burn, which I've heard of happening for some people. Yeah, you want to make sure that they're good quality. WeVibe, I can't back them enough. I've had really, really good luck with their toys. So the WeVibe Moxie is a panty vibe. So if anyone
Did you just say panty vibe? Oh my God. Yes, I know where you're going. Oh my God. Is it the movie with Katherine Heigl and Gerard Butler?
Yes. Yes.
What was that movie called? The Ugly Truth. The Ugly Truth.
Yes. Yep. Yes. So good. So a couple of weeks ago, I shared a photo on my Instagram, and I actually tagged you in it, Kaylee. My husband and I were sitting out at a restaurant at a birthday party.
Yes, I was thinking of this when you were talking earlier about dropping hints, and I was just like, I know exactly what she's talking about.
So he's got this cheeky fucking look on his face. He is laughing so hard in the photo, and it's just a photo of him like sitting there holding his phone. And the reason he is laughing so ridiculously is because the awesome thing about WeVibe is they have an app that you can put on your phone that controls their toys. And there's a ton of different, I have it written down here, 10 settings for this one to choose from. The WeVibe Moxie also comes with a cute little remote. So if you wanted to, if you didn't have your phone out or you wanted to just be playing with it, it doesn't have to be out in public, but it sure makes for a hell of a time when it is. 10 different settings. And you can set it to like music in your phone, your Apple playlist. You can set it to ambient noise, which was a shock in a crowded restaurant when everybody is talking and laughing and all excited and yelling surprise.
This is amazing.
It's so fun. And within the app, you can actually play with intensity too. So you're like running your finger over the different areas on the app, and it's shifting all up. So sticks into your panties by this nice little magnet.
Okay, I was curious about that. Even in that movie, I was like, where's the vibrator? Like, where is it?
You've got these like two little magnet pieces. So one piece would go, where does it go? Kind of on the back of the vibrator. The vibrator would sit into your panties like this. So this piece would go against your clitoris. And then the other magnet would go on the outside of the panty. I'm not going to lie. Obviously, it takes some getting used to have something like it's got some depth to it. right? It can
Yeah.
feel a bit weird when you're not used to having something in that area to be bulking it up, but you get used to it. Like it's soft, it's not too bad.
Shauna's
Um,
like, you get used to it real quick.
you get used to it real good. Again, the more blood that's pumping to that area, you stop feeling the pain.
Yeah.
It's not painful. It's
Just awkward. Like just gotta get used to it.
awkward. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a bit just uncomfortable until you get used to it. Yeah, so really, really fun. So while we're out trying this, I'm like, people are coming up and saying hi and giving me a hug. And every time, like, I would get up to like give somebody a hug, and, woo!
Hello.
Um, and it was like a work party too. It was
That is amazing because like that movie, just for anyone who hasn't seen it, it's hilarious. Like she puts them on just for fun. Like she's getting ready to go out. Like she's not even doing it on purpose. And then everyone shows up and she's like, "Oh, I have to go," and she just goes. And the
I think
remote, they're at like
she
a
had
work
it with
dinner.
her.
Yeah, she had the remote with her. It fell out of her purse. She couldn't find it. A little boy at the next table finds it. He doesn't know what it is. And Gerard Butler's character can see him with this, so he's like, "Let's have some fun." Like he wanted her to come because
Yeah.
this her character is very uptight, very like did not pleasure herself. So yeah, though it was one of the funniest scenes. She's like talking, she's giving a speech, and she's like, "It is the best that I have ever had," and she's like full on gets to orgasm. It's so funny. And I think she was talking about maybe a salad, and the girl's like, "I want that salad." Kind of like, what's that movie when Harry
Yeah.
met Sally? I'll have what she's having.
I'll have what she's having.
Yeah.
But there was one time, and I think this is why I give it such a high gush factor, because it brought out so much play. So I can struggle sometimes to get out of my head and into my body and find that playful sense of self. And I know I'm not alone when I say that. I know.
Oh, I feel like that's very common. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like in my masculine energy so often where I'm like, okay, I have all of my to-do list and I have all these things I need to get done and all these places I need to go and XYZ, right? I'm very scheduled, very routine. So when it comes time to play, I can struggle to get into that. There was one point where we were like crying on either side of the table and just like howling. We were laughing so hard at how funny it was, right? Like it's just it
So
was
did you full orgasm at the table?
no, it was a really great lesson in edging. He knew, like, he was reading my words, reading my vibe, and then he's like, okay, I can see, like, he'd play with it just enough, and then he'd be like, okay, now we're just gonna chill out.
Then he'd bring it back.
Yeah. So it was just like this constant, like,
Ooh.
creating, cultivating that sense of naughty for what's left to come.
Yes. Oh, I like that.
So if you're going out for Valentine's Day or even just like a fun little date, I wouldn't recommend, like if you're doing a lot of walking, I would say not to use it just because again, the chafing, right? I think
okay. There's a Sex in the City episode for everything. Seriously. Not the same, but Samantha, again, our favorite, has the pearl thong and she has to go up like a crazy amount of stairs and she's like took it off. She was just like, no, good for foreplay, not good for like running flights of stairs.
Absolutely. Like if you're going to a movie, if you're going out for dinner or like just like little quick, a quick grocery shop or something, I think it's something that you can have so much fun with.
Is it loud?
No, not really. Let me see if I can get it started. I found that you couldn't hear it when there was any ambient noise. You can hear it a little bit when it's quiet.
I feel like if you were in the movies, they would just think your phone is vibrating.
Oh, for sure. Right. So like, I don't know if you can hear that or not.
Not really, no. So that's good. Like that it's not.
Yeah. So yeah, people don't know what's going on. I mean, they might get an idea when you're giddy, or they're just
yeah.
So we're sitting there and he's having so much fun with this. And I'm like, oh, so many toys that we get or that are out there are based on the vulva owning experience. And I'm like, I wonder what's out there for him. Like there has to be the same thing. So enter in again, We Vibe Verge hooks up to the same app. So a lot of the same features. Toy for penis owners can be worn one of 4 ways. And I'm going to try to get this right. My husband has had to teach me this several times. So you can do it with like the vibrator pointed out the shaft of the penis on the top or along the bottom. So you can do it with the vibrator kind of up against the belly, so that again, it would be like pushing up against your partner as you're having sex. So whether that's pushing up against the clitoris or the anus or whatever, it will again draw that blood, increase the sensation. The other way you can do it is kind of back this way. So if this is the shaft of the penis, it's back with the vibrating portion kind of balls are through the hole as well. And it's just along the perineum. So again, you're giving tons of sensation up into that area. The We Vibe Moxie, the panty vibe, price point's about 140 bucks. The Verge is about 130 bucks. They're waterproof as well. So is the unicorn.
The unicorn's like literally, she calls it a unicorn for a reason.
Yeah. We Vibe Melt because you're melting all fucking over it. Like you need it to be waterproof. These are waterproof as well. This one does not have a remote, so it's run solely off the app. But again, you can set it to music, you can set it to ambient noise, or you can play with all of the different sensations, 8 vibration patterns that you can choose from. And you can customize your home screen too, so you can like play around with them.
Oh my God.
And then play within intensity as well. So really user-friendly, just fantastic. Both are quiet, both are easy to operate, easy to clean. And again, I think like when I talk about like the level of play, also the level of trust that it takes to use something like your partner in public, right?
Definitely. Yeah,
Because
you're handing the control over. Yeah.
Again, like type A personality, I don't like to give up control a lot of the time. And I'm like, oh my God, what happens if it gets to be too much and I'm out in public and like things go too far, right? Like, oh my goodness, that it could be embarrassing, right? Or just uncomfortable in a lot of ways. So knowing your partner enough, having conversations beforehand, Emily Morris, timing, turf, and tone, right? Have these conversations about sex, not during sex, unless you've built the rapport that my husband and I have and are taking notes on what you're doing at the time. Timing, turf. So know the environment. Do it outside of the environment that you're normally having sex in. So we don't want to associate like any questions, concerns, or criticisms with the sex itself, right? So we want to learn and grow and have more pleasure. It should always be like, ooh, how do we push this? How do we go a little bit further to really like amplify the pleasure? Criticisms aren't critique on you, right? Take it as constructive and make sure that we're delivering it in a constructive way, which is what the tone stands for, right? If you're being like, oh my God, no, stop it, or I don't like that, or cut it out, your partner's going to internalize that as stop it, you don't like me, you don't want me to touch you, right? So we want to make sure that those conversations happen in a way that feel good for both parties and leave you feeling much better going forward.
Yes. Oh, that's amazing. I love that you I wasn't expecting those. So yay.
Yeah, really, really fun. And just a fun way to connect, right? A good way to play.
I love that.
This one is a Narrows Helix Syn 5 vibrating silicone prostate massager. It is a mouthful. And it's one that I heard about on a podcast. So I can't speak to the gush rating for this one. So I asked my husband what his gush rating would be. Then I talked to some friends who've used it, as well as basing it off of the creator's description of it. It was a 4.5. So it was a good one. So it has kind of a funky, again, little shape, right? And I really want to make sure that we're getting past this idea that men, heterosexual men, cannot engage in butt stuff, because there is so much pleasure in that area. Butt stuff in general, we have a very, I think, taboo view of it in the world. We don't want to talk about it, or we want to talk about it as being very dirty or I want to wash away all of those myths.
Wash that away.
Wash that shit away. Yeah. No pun intended. Just like figure out where you can find pleasure and go for it. So my husband, like many men, he was a bit hesitant, right? Like he is your stereotypical like boys, raised a certain way, certain beliefs, right? But he was willing to give it a shot after I sent him the podcast episode where the owner was talking about it. The owner was saying how he had over 100 orgasms in one session with this boy.
What?
So I hear that and I go, oh, bullshit. Okay, like there is no way that that is humanly possible, because what we know about penis owners, when they have an orgasm, they generally ejaculate and then there's a refractory period, right?
Yeah.
So they take a break. They can't actually get back to that point. What we don't hear ever talked about is how when you orgasm through your prostate, you can keep it going. So
What?
you might not even ejaculate, but you
But
are
you're
getting
still
like
orgasming.
full body orgasms over and over and over again for like as long as you can withstand the pleasure.
Wow.
Fantastic. So much fun to play with. Again, easy to clean, easy to use, one button. I'm all about like the last thing I want to be doing when I'm playing with toys is finicking around trying to figure out which button does what.
Yes. Simplicity is good.
Absolutely. So it has 8 different vibration patterns, and each pattern has 3 intensities. So you can start off really low, you can really amp it up as well. Double check, and I can't emphasize this enough, if you're ordering this online, there are 2 versions. One vibrates, one does not vibrate. And you're not going to get, like, it's a butt plug at that point. If it's not vibrating, you're not going to get the same sensations. I accidentally sent the wrong link to a friend of mine who ordered it and was so disappointed. I get like a text, he's like, I'm laying here and it's not doing anything.
Oh,
So
no.
it's like, oh no, I sent you the wrong one. So definitely want to make sure that you go for the vibration, my opinion anyway. So it's great for solo play. So when a penis owner is masturbating, again, it's really nice to just add that little bit of sensation or a lot of bit of sensation and amp up that play.
It's
Because
what you said earlier with like the different pleasure zone or
Mhm.
pathways he's
Yes,
called them. Yeah.
yeah. So when you think about the way you masturbate, it's generally speaking the same way you have masturbated from the beginning. And when we look at your stereotypical teenage boy who is starting to pleasure themselves, they are doing so, and maybe not even preteen, young boy that is in their room under their blankets, trying to go as quick as they can, as fast as they can, as quiet as they can, right? And then clean it up because it's shameful, right?
Oh.
So again, how like a lot of times that continues to follow us through adulthood. Same for vulva
Yeah.
owners, right? For many, there's so many vulva owners I know that have never masturbated because the narrative is still that good girls, and I'll use this in quotations for those who can't see me, good vulva owners don't do that.
Everyone who's listening, I did a big eye roll because we all know how we feel about that. Oh my God. Self-pleasure is amazing. And I think it's healthy. It's good for your body. It's good for your soul. Like, let's go.
Stress reliever,
Yes,
right? Yeah.
exactly.
Absolutely. So price point for that one, 130 bucks. So again, kind of standard with a lot of them. The last one that I have, and I don't have a specific toy for this, but it's not my last one. I have one after this. It's kind of like a broad range, but it is the butt
Is
plug.
it like the other thing, except it just doesn't vibrate?
Yeah. So this one, let's see, I'll kind of show you the image of it. I'm trying to find a way to show it that's really effective. So this one kind of looks like,
Looks like
I
an
don't know,
anchor with a fat
an anchor. There
part.
you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you're shopping for a butt plug, biggest thing that you need to look for is a wide base. It happens way more than you think that a butt plug does not have a wide enough base and gets lost up inside
Oh
you.
my God, that's so scary.
Yes. So like way more than you think, right?
Oh,
So again,
snap.
toys like this, super cheap. This one just came from our local store. This one has like a weighted thing inside of it. So it's got a little bit of like self vibration as you move. It'll kind of bounce around. One of the things that I can say when you're starting with any anal play at all, start small. So start with like a pinky finger or like something tiny, work your way up. Beginner toys, a lot of anal toys are rated like beginner to advanced. Tons of lube. Your anus is not self lubricating. Spit does not work. Like, please, for the love of all I can teach you, use good quality lube. Check
Get
out
that lube.
Lavender.
Yes.
Yeah. So
She
again,
needs
it's
to get that
water-based.
stuff in Canada.
Yes, it's
When it
coming.
is in Canada, Shauna will be telling us. We do
I
know that.
will make sure that you are the first to know. Yeah, good quality lube, a silicone lube or a water-based lube, depending on your preference. Again, there are like anal lubes designed specifically for that. It'll just add a bit more of a barrier. I get tons of questions on this too about like the pain associated with it. A lot of people have, tried it or heard about how painful it can be. So some discomfort is normal, very, very normal, especially in beginning stages. Pain is not normal. So generally when pain is happening, you have to listen to your body. So please never use a lube that is numbing on your anus, because if you numb the area and pain is happening, if damage is happening, you're not going to know until after.
Oh, and you don't want to damage that
Oh,
area.
no,
Any area, but especially that would
not
not be
yeah,
fun. No.
sensitive. So definitely some lube. Go really, really slow. Vibration will again help to relax it. What we tend to do, especially when we're nervous, is we clench.
Yeah.
Right? We hold it in, and like it's hard to get anything in at that point if you're all tightened up. So,
Yes.
really great time to do some mindfulness and focus on your breathing. As insertion is happening, you want to be exhaling. So as you
Yeah.
exhale, your anus naturally like releases. So it's easier for it to get in, whatever it is that you're using. As you get more comfortable, you can increase your size, you can increase your speed, play around with positions as well. I've heard a lot of different people say that the receiver of anal should be on top, because then you're in control of,
That's a good
what
point.
for you. Um,
Yeah.
trust with your partner again in all capacities. But this is when you're at one of your most vulnerable states. Please trust your partner and be a trustworthy partner, right?
Yes.
Like this is, you do not coerce your partner into trying this one time, right? It's a
That's
hell
right.
yes or a hell no.
That's right. That's like
Yeah,
life, people. Hell yes, or it's a hell no.
yeah. Make sure you're comfortable. Make sure you can trust. Say, like, use your words, verbalize what you need. Always, always, always go like 3 times slower than you think you need to be going when it comes to doing this. Anal toys should always be easy to clean. We talk about toy cleaning in general. You want to make sure that anal toys are cleaned and cleaned well, because
Yeah.
your anus does have a ton of bacteria. That's where your poop comes through, right?
Yeah.
With that being said as well, anything that goes into your anus, whether that's a body part, whether that's a toy, should not be put into a vulva. We don't want to be transferring that bacteria at all. So if you're going to use it and then plan to use it in the vagina, that's fantastic. Give it a good clean first, right? We don't want to be slipping and sliding with that. With that bacteria, when it's transferred into the vulva, it can cause a ton of like infection or even UTIs. Nobody wants to play around with that, right? Like that's not. And then my last one, and this one is so fun, and it's again not an object that I have, but an object that we all have in our home right now, and that is pervertibles. And I love this word so much. So a pervertible is any non-sexual object that you use for sexual purposes.
Stop. Okay, I did not know there was a word for that. It's a funny word.
It is a funny word. I love it. So anything that you can find kicking around that you're choosing to use in a sexual way. So I find this to be the most fun when I'm doing sensory or impact play. So what are the items that you have laying around that you can like pull in that are just different uses? So huge shout out to my epicure lady, who every time she drops off the silicone epicure spoons, I get like a sly side face emoji, because she's like, I know why you're replacing these again, because they make the most amazing impact play toys ever. And like there are all kinds of whips and floggers and spankers and all of that out there that you can go and find. But I promise you, some of my favorite items have been things that we've had kicking around. Paint sticks are another, really, like the stir stick for your paint.
Yes.
Leaves a really good whack. Yeah, you probably don't even realize what's out there. Using a tie to handcuff or blindfold or gag. right?
Yeah.
Sheets, your bed sheets to tie your partner down. Just all
Yeah.
fun items. Ice cubes for sensory play. Like anything warming to kind of play around. Metal is always fun because metal you can kind of warm up under hot water, or you can put in the
Yeah.
freezer as well, right? And then just
Interesting.
use that for different textures too. Love it. So fun.
Yeah.
And then I don't have this one written out, but it's one that I'd heard about it through a pelvic floor physiotherapist. It's called the O nut. So many vulva owners, and actually this could be really great for anyone who's having intercourse with a penis. Let's refer to it that way because it can be used across the board. But sometimes, I mean, penises come in all sizes, length, girth, shapes, whether they're twisting or turning or however they look, right? And sometimes that doesn't always correlate well with the receiver's body. So painful sex, again, we don't want to be having painful sex because then it shuts down sex in general, right?
Yeah.
So what I love about this, the O nut, is when you order it, it comes in like 4 different little, they're like jelly rings.
It's cute too.
It is so cute. And you literally just layer them on for as much as you need. And they're stretchy. Like they are very soft, not because again, we gave it a try just because like so many people are asking about, painful sex. How can we really combat that? So we gave it a try. And my biggest question was like, is it going to be chafy? Do you need a ton of lube inside it so that it doesn't hurt? And my partner said no, that wasn't necessary. A little bit of lube along the shaft, and then kind of they just slide on. Like I'm sure you could get your whole hand into it if you really wanted to. Oh yeah, like and it also like this is the original. It also comes in a wide version, which is a little bit terrifying to me. I'm not gonna lie. Like
That's very
this,
stretchy.
this
Yeah.
feels very stretchy. If you're going to the wide, good on you. But yeah, so you just layer up for however many you need, and it's almost like a shock system, right? So
Interesting.
within the vagina, the vaginal canal, you really only have sensation for a few inches, right? So we always hear this like concept of bigger is better. Women want like this huge, penis. And it's so not necessarily true. Some people really like that.
It's whatever feels right for you.
Whatever feels right for you.
Yeah.
But recognizing, and again, commenting on how at different points in your cycle, for vulva owners, your cervix will actually move as well. So certain
Yeah.
positions may feel good, may feel very painful.
Yeah, like legit. Sometimes it's like that's what you want. And then during certain parts in the cycle, it's like, nope, that hurts. Nope, I
Nope.
can't do that.
Yeah. What can also impact that, which is a whole other topic, is being constipated and how tight your pelvic floor is. So we'll get into that stuff through the myth busting. But O nut also comes. So this is really great. I forget exactly what the price point is on it, but they also have a vibrating ring that can add into all of this, which again is really great, especially if you're using this for painful sex, because if you can add some vibration in there, it's just going to relax the muscles around. So we're not like overly clenching the areas.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my gosh. This was a toy extravaganza.
Some of my faves. I feel like I want to sing that song like these are a few of my favorite.
That is the theme song for this episode.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love it so much. This was so freaking informative. I am so excited for this whole series. And for all the listeners, it's going to be a different topic each time. So we mentioned it a couple times. There is going to be a myth busting episode. For that one, especially if you have questions or anything, let us know. Sorry, that's Benson. You can probably hear him moving around. Sorry. But yeah, like let us know. Send it in. There is not, like Shauna said, there is nothing off limits. She probably has seen this before. Like nothing will shock her.
Absolutely. That said, please don't send me dick or vagina photos to my social media. This is non-consensual, not what I'm down for. I get a lot of creepy shit up in there, and that's not what we're needing.
No. No. Oh my God. I'm sorry this happens to you. I'm like, people seriously have no shame and no sense of boundaries and no sense of what is okay and not okay and what is consensual or not. That is not okay. So yes, no unsolicited dick or vagina pictures, please and thank you. We have a beautiful audience here, so I'm sure you already know that, but I think the disclaimer is always good to put out there. Well, thank you so much for this awesome episode 1. I loved our toy episode. It was super informative. Learned a lot. I'm sure the listeners can say the same thing. So, as you all remember from our little giveaway, make sure you message Shauna with Stop and Smell the Roses.
Stop and smell the roses.
Yes, and you will be entered in to win that cute little rosebud vibrator and also a rose quartz crystal. And also, just for fun, keep on listening to this series because the giveaways are going to continue and they're just going to get bigger and better. And of course, we're having all the sexual innuendos with everything we say. So,
Absolutely. It is a good time had by all.
always. And Shauna is more than happy to do the research. So,
As is my husband. He's like, oh man, being married to you sucks all the time.
Winning. Yeah. Wife goals. Legit.
Wife goals.
I love it. I'll get you to plug your socials in again just so we have them.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm on Facebook and on Instagram at Fraser Valley Sex Therapist. And then you can find me online. My website is lavenderlanecounseling.ca.
Perfect. And as always, I'll have everything linked so you can find Shauna easily and make sure you enter our giveaway. That is our tea time for today. I hope everyone enjoyed this series and I can't wait for the next one. There's going to be one out every month, so stay tuned for our Sex with Shauna series and we will see you next week.